There's no regulations really. It's pretty much the wild, wild west out there.
As of 2014, more than 9 million people regularly used e-cigarettes, according to the Center for Disease Control. Between 2013 and 2014, vape use among middle schoolers tripled. But as more people use the devices, regulation has not been able to keep up. Join us as we go inside the foggy world of vaping to explain what it is and how it's regulated.
All right, here is the top cap that screws onto the tank. Here is your actual e-cigarette device. This is called an Ego AO, or all-in-one. And then right here, I don't know if you guys can see this little guy, this is your coil. So this is where all the magic happens, so to say. So essentially with this is like the new starter kit where it's leak-proof, kind of the easiest setup, all-in-one system. So you fill it up to this little fill line, and then you would take your juice and prime up that little coil. As you can see inside the coil, there's like a little Canthal and organic cotton wick, 100% organic cotton. You just kind of lube that up with some juice so the cotton doesn't burn. And then you would screw that onto your chimney. Woo. And then stick that little guy in. Click the button 3 times or 5 times, and you'd be good to go. I think we have maybe 13 to 15 different types of devices here.
Although VaporSpot sells only about 15 different types of devices, recent research from the Morris Cantor Center found that there were over 460 brands of e-cigarettes. Since the market is reported to be worth $1.5 billion by Bloomberg News, it's no surprise that more companies are trying to break into the market.
With this, there's so many possibilities, so you kind of want to find the best experience for yourself. Kind of like the juices, you have tons of different options for that as well.
Elvis, oh no, Orgasmo, rainbow sherbet ice cream, Spanish fly, strawberry milk cheesecake, the dude from the Big Vapes.
E-liquid, or juice as it's sometimes called, is the moneymaker for these shops. Although representatives from every location declined to comment on the exact sales figures, they made it clear that storefronts were mainly there to sell juice. So what's inside the e-liquid they sell?
The 2 main components of the juices will be vegetable glycerin and propylene glycol. The vegetable glycerin is the thicker of the 2 substances, typically is going to give you that visible white cloud, whereas the propylene glycol is the thinner of the 2. It's actually going to give more of that throat hit sensation. From there, you would have your different ratios of nicotine and then flavorings.
Propylene glycol is found in a lot of different things. You can find propylene glycol in things like your toothpaste, everyday items, and vegetable glycerin is just naturally absorbed. It's the same ingredients that you would find in like a fog machine you'd find in like a theater arts building or something like that.
Although you can find some of the ingredients in other household products, California law, Prop 65, requires that any substance known to have adverse health effects be clearly labeled.
Like a nicotine warning stating that nicotine can cause birth defects, just kind of the general stuff that you'll find on all or on most nicotine products.
There are a couple regulated statements that have to be put on there involving the nicotine, but beyond that, no. Right now, the main regulation is due to just age. There's no safety regulations put into place. There is kind of an unofficial vaping, regulation that almost all the main companies now are producing their fluids in ISO grade 7 labs.
The liquid is made in a food grade lab that my business partner and I have built out ourselves. It's in Gardena. So there's FRP paneling. There's basically we can take a hose to the entire room and just walk out. Light fixtures, everything included. So, it's very sterile. I think the first set of regulations that are going to come out is where and how they're made, and then what they're using. So we're already established ourselves with those standards from day one.
I would like to see more regulation due to the quality of how the juices are made, but I don't want regulation to come down and hurt all the small businesses that have started to make a name for themselves. I'd like an opportunity for them to be able to get out there, make their products right, and then move forward. And
some of the stuff I wouldn't like to see is this being grouped as a tobacco product would be devastating to the industry.
Recent California legislation that's expected to be signed into law by Governor Jerry Brown later this year would effectively define e-cigarettes similarly to other tobacco products. Under the new legislation, there would be a distribution tax for vapes, and retailers would need to obtain a special license to sell them. However, it would not regulate how the e-liquid is made or what's inside of it.
The new regulation that just passed, smoking and vaping ages will be 21 and up from now on.
The biggest regulations might be coming from the sale of liquids online. That's the big thing right now. So that could affect us, but we have a couple stores, so we'll survive it.
It will be interesting to see how other vape shops respond to the new regulations in the coming years. For Journalism and New Media, I'm Elizabeth Key-Comis.